5 not so common sustainable tips. On Google Maps, if you go on route options, you can now select the fuel-efficient route, which will make you save gas and emissions. Place a plastic bottle filled with water or rocks in the toilet tank. This way, less water is needed to fill it and less water is being flushed. Old emails are usually stored on the cloud, which requires quite a lot of electricity. Delete them to reduce the use of fossil fuels. Use a bidet or a portable bidet instead of toilet paper that needs lots of water to be produced. Christmas is coming, so why not letting your loved ones know that you don't want any material gift and prefer to exchange experiences instead?
For those of you who have made it a goal to make more sustainable choices this year, here are some of my personal favorite tips for going low waste. Number 1 is composting or just feeding my food scraps to my pigs who will turn it into manure. I know most people don't have hogs to get rid of their food scraps, but these days, most of us have access to some kind of composting method. Even if you don't have room for a compost pile in your yard or don't have curbside compost as an option, I always recommend finding a local compost drop-off, whether it's with a neighbor, a community garden, or asking farms at your local farmers market. Number 2 is using refillable cleaning products. I'm so over disposable cleaners. It's so hard to tell what packaging components are actually recyclable with disposable products, and oftentimes they're more expensive to buy repeatedly. So now I only use these. Blueland uses no single-use plastic in any component, from bottles to tablets to wrappers to shipping. Their products are effective and affordable, with refills starting at just $2.25. You can use code Megan15 for 15% off your first order. Tip number 3 is to get comfortable refusing and saying no. As someone who never wants to come off as rude, I literally have to practice polite ways to refuse single-use products. So here are some of my favorites. I'd love if my drink came with no straw. We don't need the extra napkins. No sauce packets, please. We don't need a bag. And the last tip, number 4, is bringing my own to-go containers to restaurants. I feel like no one ever suggests this tip, but it honestly changed my life. I always leave my tiffin in the car, just like I do with my reusable shopping bags. If you don't have something like this, you can just bring a little Tupperware in your bag or grab it from your car before you pack up your food. This way, I don't even have to ask my waiter for a box and can avoid bringing waste home with me. Cheers to a more sustainable 2023, y'all.
If we ever broke up, I'll never be sad. Think about everything I thought we had if we ever broke up.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but reusing what you already have is the most eco-friendly thing you can do. Instead of buying a new hand soap once you run out, just refill it instead. These zero-waste pills are a perfect solution to that. Don't compost your leftovers. Shop your fridge and cook with the food you already have. This way, you're saving the planet and money too.
There are some habits I've developed that make it easy for me to live sustainably every single day. First up, so that I'm not tempted to use paper towels, I keep a pile of rags under my sink, and once they're dirty, they go in this plastic bag, and when it's full, I wash them all. Same setup for my reusable cotton rounds that are just old pieces of a t-shirt. I use them, and then I put them in the dirty pile, and then they all get thrown in the wash. Next, I always keep a tote bag in my entryway so that I never leave home without one. I also have a list on my phone of things I should never leave home without so that I never forget my reusables. And lastly, I just kind of made a rule for myself that I don't go shopping for new clothes in person anymore. Unless it's thrifting. Otherwise, I'm just window shopping for things I like, adding it to my wish list, and looking for it secondhand when I get home. Follow along for more sustainable lifestyle content.
If you want to do your part to help save the planet, you should be peeing in the shower. Toilets use between 1.6 and 7 gallons of water with each flush. Therefore, if you pee in the shower instead of the toilet once a day, you could save between 584 and 2,555 gallons of water a year. That's up to 9,500 liters of water. So if anyone ever tries to tell you you're gross for peeing in the shower, just tell them you're doing it for the planet.
These are the things I do with makeup to save money and be more sustainable. When it comes to temptation, if I find myself really wanting to buy something that I see going around, the first thing that I'll do is I'll go to EWG Skin Deep. It'll tell you about ingredients that are in makeup products. So please don't hate me, okay? This is an example. Say with this Charlotte Tilbury product, if I'm seeing it rank this score and looking and seeing these ingredients that don't really fly for me, that just sort of immediately makes me not as interested in buying it. If I'm spending that much money on a product, I want to make sure that the ingredients aren't going to harm my body. Tip number 2 is try to buy makeup that you can use for multiple purposes. I always try to opt for a cream blush because I can also use it on my lips. On the other hand, for bronzer, I try to get a powdered bronzer because then I can also use it as eyeshadow. This is my favorite tip of all time. When you get to the bottom of a makeup product and you think it is empty, don't throw it out quite yet. Cut the product open. There will be multiple uses still left inside. One last thing, this isn't a money-saving thing, but it's a great sustainable thing that you can do, is you can usually recycle a lot of your makeup products through TerraCycle. Nordstrom even has a drop-off.
3 DIY tips to live life more sustainably. Number 1.
Aloe vera hand soap is just incredibly good for your skin and hair. It's a great moisturizer, but also helps to fight skin aging, reduce infections, acne, and boost healing effects of wounds. This is a simple yet really effective way of reducing the amount of plastic containers chucked away every week in your house by producing your stock of 100% natural hand soap.
Number 2.
When I'm home in the evening, I love to use candles to create a nice cozy atmosphere and relax. However, some store-bought candles contain a lot of chemicals, and that's why I decided to make my own, using herbs and flowers from my garden.
Number 3.
Making your own body scrub has the benefits of silky smooth skin with very little effort or cost. Glycolic acid is in many skincare products, but it's found naturally in sugar. It's a safe exfoliant and penetrates the skin cells, leaving you looking fresh and rejuvenated.
Weird sustainable things I do to save money and prevent waste. Let's go. Number 1, I cut open every plastic or aluminum tube to get every last bit of product out. I had already squeezed every drop out of this tube, but once I cut it open, I was still able to get enough product to use another 2 to 3 times on my hair. That might not seem like a lot, but it would have just been wasted product if I hadn't cut it open. Number 2, whenever I eat oranges, I save the peels in my freezer. When I have enough of them, I make an all-purpose cleaner to clean my house, and it not only smells amazing, but also cleans really well. Number 3, I save most of my empty skincare containers instead of throwing them out. They are great for storing all sorts of things and come really handy when I need to travel because I can take just the amount of product I need for my trip instead of the whole container. It's especially helpful if I'm only traveling with a carry-on. Number 4, this one I actually don't consider weird, but it does save me money and prevent food waste. I freeze any berries that are starting to go bad and any bananas that start to brown so that I can make these delicious acai bowls with them. What are some weird sustainable things that you do? Leave them in the comments.
Did you know that 400 million toothpaste tubes and 1 billion toothbrushes end up in a landfill every year in the US? That's because most plastic tubes and brushes are unrecyclable. And even if they are recyclable, plastic recycling rates are less than 10%. Switching to toothpaste tabs is your zero waste option to help reduce the waste in the oral wellness industry. Bentley tabs come in recyclable, refillable, and reusable glass jars, allowing you to skip the plastic tube and start living a more eco-friendly life. So try them today.
This is one of those sustainability hacks that I've been doing for so long I forget to share it, but whenever I eat an orange or any citrus really, I throw the peel in a jar with some distilled white vinegar, let it sit for 2 to 3 weeks, and then strain it, dilute it with some water, and it's a great countertop cleaner. This is such an easy, zero waste.
Uh-oh, looks like you're done with your peanut butter. But slow down there, buddy. Before you go throwing away that jar, I've got something for you. Introducing Still a Jar. Still a Jar is a modern breakthrough in food storage technology that allows you to reuse a perfectly good jar. Just soak it in hot water and that label will peel off like magic. Wow, it's literally the same. And if you act now, it will come with the same top. Amazing! Still a Jar comes in all shapes and sizes and can be used to hold all sorts of food items. So act now before it's too late.
Unfortunately, all stores that you see at the mall are fast fashion. This might not be new news to you, but if you're trying to be more sustainable, here's a couple tips. 1, if you own anything that's fast fashion, don't throw it away. Try to make your fast fashion items last as long as possible. The best way to be sustainable is not to buy from sustainable brands, it's to make what you already own last as long as possible. 2, don't buy something just because it's trending right now. Buy something that you see yourself wearing for years. If you can buy secondhand, that's great, but if you do end up buying fast fashion, that's totally okay, because being sustainable is more about progress over perfection. As always, like and follow.
Fuck. I don't fuck with you. You little stupid ass bitch, I ain't fucking with you. You little dumb ass bitch, I ain't fucking with you. I got a million trillion things I'd rather fucking do than to be fucking with you. Little stupid ass, I don't.
things I wish I knew before starting my sustainability journey, part 1. A lot of the things you need to live more sustainably are already in your home. Want to use fewer paper towels? You probably already have rags or old t-shirts that can serve as reusable alternatives. Just store dirty ones in a bag until it's full and then wash. Want to use fewer plastic utensils? You probably have silverware you can take with you. Roll it up in a piece of scrap fabric or a towel, tie it with a rubber band or a rogue piece of string in your home. Want to cut back on plastic bags? You probably already have tote bags from every promotional event you've ever been to that you can store in your car or your entryway so you don't forget them. Want a more sustainable wardrobe? Figure out how to style the pieces you already have in new and exciting ways. And finally, put your phone to work. I'm guessing that if you're watching this video, you probably own a phone, so use it to join local low waste Facebook groups, sign petitions, and call out greenwashing brands on social media. And if nothing else, remember this: the most sustainable thing is the thing you already own. It's one of the
things I'm not buying in 2023 to live more sustainably. Paper towels. I have so many reusable cloths that I've made and collected over the years that I just use them instead. Plastic Ziploc baggies. I use reusable stasher bags or regular old containers. Dryer sheets. I hang dry my clothes to reduce energy use. And when my partner uses the dryer, we use reusable dryer balls. Conditioner. Look, I haven't used it in years and my hair is much happier for it.
Something I don't buy anymore thanks to zero waste living. Perfume. Instead of spraying myself to make myself smell good or using essential oils, I take a little bit of lavender as well as some eucalyptus with a little bit of baking soda and add all those three into a little cotton bag. Mix everything up and then stick these little bags everywhere, in your drawers, in your closets, in your coat pockets, in your shoes, and allow them to infuse your clothes into smelling absolutely amazing. A lot less chemicals this way. You could even grow your own herbs, and of course the best part, no waste.